Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing 10 before the end. 10 books that I want to read before the end of 2025. I don't have a majority of these books physically. I do have some of them on Kindle Unlimited, but it is also going to give me a good excuse to go and buy some books. So let's just jump right into it. So this list is not necessarily in order. However, this first book that I want to read is the first book that I would like to get done before the end of 2026, and that is Brimstone by Callie Hart. It is the sequel to Quicksilver. I did give Quicksilver 5 stars, so I'm really excited for the second book in this series. Quicksilver, it follows Sarah Swain as she opens a gate to the Fae realm, where she meets Kingfisher, who is fighting a war, and she binds himself to him, and he uses her magic as an alchemist to help his people. That is a very broad summary of what that book entails, but I mean, Kingfisher. Do I have to say more? If you've read Quicksilver, do I have to say more than Kingfisher? I don't think so. The second book that I want to read before the second one on the list that I want to read is Alchemized by Sin Lee Yu. It follows Helena, who has lost her memory and it's following a post-war world, and the man that is tasked to uncover her memories, because the people who had captured her think that they may be important. Again, a very broad summary for the description of this book, but what I have been seeing of people's reactions to this and how much it is tearing people apart just gives me FOMO, makes me want to read this book so bad, and I am just so excited to get started with this. The next book that I want to read, I don't have physically. I do have the first book physically, but the second book I did get from my library online, and it is Keeping 13. It's the sequel to Binding 13, which I also rated 5 stars. Binding 13 follows Johnny, who is a rugby star, and Shannon, who keeps her head down, has been bullied all of her life by multiple people in her life, and it's just their love story, and how they come to find each other throughout the series. I would also like to read The Housemaid. I mainly want to read this because the movie looks really cool, and I hear so many people rave about The Housemaid. I've read one other Freida McFadden book. Freida McFadden books I hear mixed reviews on, so I am kind of sometimes a little hesitant to read Freida McFadden, but I read The Tenant, I believe it was. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I want to read The Housemaid, mainly because I want to watch the movie. The Housemaid follows a woman who is taking care of a family. She was hired to do it. She picks up the kids, she does house cleaning, she cooks the food, and she's just an outsider that is integrated with this family, and she watches their interactions from the outside. But the kicker is she doesn't find out that her door locks from the outside, and only from the outside. But she realizes she doesn't know them, and they don't know her. So seems like a very, from the everything that I've seen from people watching or reading the book, and from the previews of the movie, it seems like it would be right up my alley. So I really want to read it before I watch the movie. The Night and the Moth. This book has been in so many of my book shopping videos. I pick it up every single time, but I haven't gotten it. I'm not sure if it's on Kindle Unlimited, but I believe it may be because it is the same author for the Shepherd King duology trilogy. I don't remember. I did really like that series, though, the Shepherd King series. So I really think that I would like it. It follows a diviner who, she does not like being a diviner. It sounds like from the description, she is ready to be done with her service, and at the tail end of her service, she has this knight that comes in. He doesn't agree with what she is divining. He's rude, he's callous, he doesn't respect her visions. She has visions that can predict terrible things for people, and people come from all over to have these visions told about them. But eventually her other diviners that are there with her start to go missing, and she has to rely on this knight to help her find out what is happening to them. Next, I would like to continue the Throne of Glass series. I am on book 4, Queen of Shadows. I have loved every other book in this series. Number 1, which is not usually everybody's favorite, but number 1, Throne of Glass, is my favorite so far. But Throne of Glass follows Selena Sardothien, who is a formidable assassin working as the king's assassin, and we just follow her journey as she is finding herself finding herself and her place in the world that she lives in. Another one by Sarah J. Maas that I would like to read by the end of the year, and it is a chunk of a book, just like Alchemized, is House of Flame and Shadow. I have read all the other books in this series, and you can tell I have actually already started this book. I have started this book a couple of times. I don't know what about it is making me put it down, but I just end up putting it down, and I would just like to finish that before the end of 2026. I know that there's going to be another book coming out I don't know when that book is coming out, but I know that there's going to be another book coming out and another one of Sarah J. Maas's world. I think it is of course now I'm not going to be able to think of it. Court of Thorns and Roses series. And I would just like to have all of the series finished before that book comes out. Don't know if that's a realistic goal or not, but I would like to have Throne of Glass and Crescent City finished before I start the next book that comes out in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. But A House of Flame and Shadow, it just follows, who's it follow? Bryce Quinlan and Hunt Athalar. Again, Hunt Athalar. Do I need to say more than Hunt Athalar? Don't think so, but it just follows them and what they're going through in this world. The first book follows Bryce as she navigates her grief from losing her friend, and I'm just excited to continue it. I really hope to not put it down again. I just want to say that I finished it. All right, the next book has been in my Kindle library for far too long. I've heard far too many good things about it to not start it before the end of 2026, and that is Heartless Hunter by, I've got my list over here. It's Kristen Cicerelli. I'm not sure how you say that. But it has been on my list for far too long. The first sentence literally has got me like, yeah, I need to read that book. It literally says in the description on Goodreads, on the night Ruin's life changed forever, blood ran in the streets. How could you not want to read that? But it pretty much follows Ruin, who is a witch, who is hiding her identity by pretending to be a vapid socialite, but that's by day, and then by night she is a witch vigilante who goes by the Crimson Moth and who is trying to help prevent her other witches from being purged. I mean, that sounds right up my alley. I can't believe I haven't read it yet. It has been in my library for so long, and it is just one of those books that I just need to read. All right, we are nearing the end. The next book I want to read is by a auto-buy author for me. I love this author. I love Grady Hendrix. I will say some of his books have been hit or miss for me. I do wish I would have read this probably closer to the Halloween season, but you do what you gotta do. You get it done when you gotta get it done. But it is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, which follows Fern, and she is a pregnant, unwed mother who gets sent to St. Augustine, where she is eventually going to have to give up her baby. She meets all these other girls in St. Augustine, and then the librarian gives them a book of the occult, and they find out that power has a price, and that price is usually blood. That's what the description says. But that, I mean, I've heard mixed reviews on this, but it's Grady Hendrix. I feel like I have to read it. I can't wait to read it. And the last book on my list for the top 10 before the end is Mate, which is the Bride, or the sequel to Bride. Goodness gracious. I gave Bride 4 stars. I have read almost every single one of Allie Hazelwood's books. I loved Bride. It had me kicking my feet. It was such a good book. But this one, Mate, follows Serena, which is a human hybrid, and a alpha werewolf named Cohen. And they're just fighting against fate. They have reasons that they shouldn't be together. I've heard they are very valid reasons that from other people on YouTube that they have to navigate before these two can be together, and it's just following them as they navigate through those different things and how they get feelings for one another. So that is the list of 10 books that I personally would like to read before the end of 2026. I feel like I have a good mix of fantasy, of thriller, of scary. I feel like I have a good list of different books that I'm not going to get bored with. We will see if I get these done, because I am a working mom of 2 kids, so reading is not always as fast for me as it is for other people. Sometimes I will not make it through a book in a week. Sometimes I will make it through a book in a week. So we will just see if we will get it all finished. But that is my 10 before the end.